And welcome back. Yes, now this project is all about e-ink, ePaper, which you might think, hang on a minute, didn't you do a video on that a while ago? And yes, you're right, I did do a video on that way back, video 201, and it was a bit of a disaster in as much that everybody, me included, said, what are we going to do with one of these displays? Yes, we did. We actually said that because the refresh rate of this particular display, because it's a 3-color display, was awful. It's about 15 seconds. Now, a quick shout out to my sponsor, JLC PCB. They're doing a collaboration with EasyEDA. As you know, it's my preferred PCB CAD program. It's simple but powerful. It's intuitive to use. Let's just have a quick look at a design I made recently. So here's a fairly recent design of mine, my ESP32 web radio. Designed it in EasyEDA because it had all the features that I needed. And don't forget the teardrop feature that allows the tracks to be slightly bigger at the ends where they join pins and things to give them a bit more stability. And then you just click the Gerber button at the top here. So that one there. And it says, great, you can either generate your Gerber files directly or order them at JLC PCB. And if you click that, it will go straight to the JLC PCB site, upload the Gerber files as it's generating them in the background automatically, and show you what you can do there. And let's not forget they got a Facebook group. Here it is. And as you can see, they're joining forces here a bit more transparently so we understand that the two are connected. EasyEDA to design your PCB and JLC PCB to actually manufacture it. Sounds good to me. And if you join the group, there's all sorts of good things on the way. So have a look at that as well. JLC PCB, go and have a look. And not only is it slow, it flashes and pulsates whilst it's updating. So it's pretty unusable in that sense. But, well, as you can see, I've made a project with it. But, well, this is the finished project, isn't it? And it's not quite as exciting seeing a finished project as how we got there in the first place. And I'll tell you exactly what it's all about. But I did some pre-recording, thinking ahead, don't catch me out. Yeah, I did some pre-recording of the stuff whilst it was on the breadboard, sort of in, prototyping mode. Because I thought, yeah, this would be interesting to show you. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering where I've been for the past few weeks, I'll tell you that right at the very end of the video if you're that interested, all right? But let's not get sidetracked. Oh, squirrel. So here it is on the breadboard prototyping. As I say, it's all fairly stable. Oh yes, that down there is a SI4599 dual MOSFET chip in the middle there. You can just about make it out. We'll talk about that in a minute. Battery pack, 3 AAA batteries, AAA. That is an ESP32 that's deliberately been designed and built on that board, not by me of course, but by ThingPulse. And we'll talk a lot about that one, yeah. And of course it's got an external aerial. What's that? Why has it got an external aerial? There's a story attached to that as well. You wouldn't believe that we could talk so much about such a simple little project. But at least I finally got the display, that e-ink display, doing something useful. And considering it takes about 15 seconds to update that display, it's just as well that this only gets updated once a day, roughly about 2 AM. I'm a bit concerned. It says 1:52:58 AM. It should have been much closer to 2 o'clock. And there's a story attached to that as well. Do you know what? I don't think we're going to have enough time in this video to talk about it all, but we'll crack on, eh? Right, very quickly then, a nice summary of what this project's all about. Where I live, we have 3 council waste bins, and they're collected at all different times. Well, same day of the week, but one week it might be the green bin, then the black bin, then the purple bin, then them being, recycling, general waste and cardboard. And trying to keep track of those is more difficult than you might think. So, apart from a piece of paper that the council provide, we now use this. And so, well, you can see exactly what it says here. For the bin, how many days to go until the next collection, the date on which the collection is. Sometimes it's not a Monday, it's a Saturday, and we have to be very careful about that. And just down the bottom, I just put when this was last updated, just to make sure we're not looking at old information. Fine. So I finally found a project that only requires this display to be updated once a day, about 2 AM, as I said, and that's fine, sort of. We'll come on to what might possibly go wrong with that. Let's take it out of the box, because obviously it's all battery powered, and the I measured this to the nth degree. That battery connector there, the name of which I've forgotten, but it's a very common one you can get, fits just beautifully now. I mean, it's just literally slides in. So I'm very happy with that. Runs on 3 AAA batteries. I didn't know whether it was going to run on 3 AAA batteries or in fact a rechargeable, a 4.7, so I made provision for both on here. But 3 AAAs it is. Yes, I ordered it from JLC PCB, who are of course sponsoring this video, but they didn't make this PCB for me actually. It was over a weekend, and I thought by the time I've contacted my contacts and saying, look, is it alright if I order another PCB? It's going to be another few days, and I thought I'd just order the thing. But use the opportunity to try out that slower delivery service that they offer to see, whether it would work or not. So I did. So ordered it from JLC in exactly the same way, designed using Easy EDA, and I ordered it using this delivery service here. Now there it is. Now as you can see, I could have chosen the DHL super expensive. Well, it's not that expensive, but yeah, it is costly, and you can get it in 3 days. Well, 3 to 5, depending if there's a weekend in the middle. And it's always worked brilliantly for me. But I thought, no, let's try the slower one then, and just see how well that goes. Now, as those shipping methods show you there, I've picked the one that's highlighted. It says FedEx International Priority 7 to 9 business days, which is quite a bit different, isn't it, from the 3 to 7 or whatever it is at the top there. But I thought, well, if I was paying my own money, which in fact I was, of course, this time, I thought that's sort of the thing I'd probably try. So I tried it, and you know what? I don't know if it was a fluke or something, but it was just as quick as DHL. Just as quick. It got here, I don't know, 4 or 5 days. I think it was over a weekend as well. Hello, that's the cat. So yeah, I'd think FedEx International, and there's a couple of others. Look, there's standard global direct line, that's a bit longer, global direct line saver. I don't know, but FedEx sounded a bit safer, didn't it? And it was. So what I'm saying is, when you order your PCBs, you think, hang on, I can get 5 PCBs for $2, but I'm spending $20 on the shipping now. You don't have to. You can choose a lower priced one, slightly slower, but in this case not. Obviously this is the UK, it might be different to your company, but I'm just saying. Okay. Well, obviously the design and production and everything went flawlessly, no problems at all. What's that? Yeah, all right, there was a massive problem, all right. While I was playing about with the board that you can see under there, the ThingPulse ePulse ESP32 board. I can't even show it to it properly now because it's all soldered on top of each other. But I found that whilst it worked here in my workshop absolutely fine, as soon as I took it indoors, it goes, ugh. It worked maybe once out of 5 and then once out of 10. I go, what is going on? Yes, I do have 2 different SSIDs, one for my workshop, one for inside the house, even though you can pick up the one from the house, sort of, not bad, here in the workshop. We're about 7 to 8 meters away. But I thought, no, I'm going to use the correct SSID for indoors, because that's where this unit is going to live. Except that it just would not work. So I don't know, I was playing about with the code because I had some new code that allowed multiple SSIDs. It goes, list all the SSIDs you possibly want to connect to, and I'll pick the strongest one. And well, it didn't, because, well, okay, let's cut to the chase. The board itself, I can't show you, well, I can show it on this new board. If you look at this board here, this little gap here is supposed to be for your PX connector, the little tiny brass connector or whatever it is for the external aerial, so there isn't one fitted on here. And then you've got 2 resistors there, you see that, R15 and R14, and this is all part of the standard ESP32 design. And the idea is that if you've got one of these PX external aerials, you solder R14 in place to let the signal go out via the external aerial, and if not, you solder it in R15, and it uses this PCB trace that you can see under this black stuff here, right? Except on this board, even though it did have a PX connector, which I don't think we're going to be able to see, quite frankly. Oh, there it is. You can just about see that brass thing in there. Yeah, that's the PEX connector, but it's not really worth looking at. Anyway, they'd soldered it up for that, hadn't they? So it wasn't using the inbuilt PCB antenna at all. As soon as I put an external aerial on there, oh, fantastic, yeah, it worked lovely. So I wrote to them, I go, what's going on? You're not supposed to do this. This is, by default, it's supposed to be the PCB trace that works. That's the default. And now that means I've got to either use an external aerial, which I don't want to do for this tiny little project, considering that the router, or the wireless part of the router, is only going to be line of flight 3-4 meters away maximum from where I am in the kitchen. I think, no, I don't want an external aerial. What do I want to do that for? I just want a nice little box. And they said, oops. Yeah. So they said, look, I'll tell you what, can you solder the R14, R15 back to where it should be? And I said, well, I'll have a go, even though there's specks of dust on there. They're not really resistors, they're 0 ohm resistors, right? So you can just, bridges basically. So I did it, had a go, yeah, did it, worked fine. And they said, look, we'll send you a new one, but this is actually a ThingPulse Feather, and it has a better current consumption, or lower current consumption on battery power. So on battery power, this one, just the ESP bit, has a current consumption of 27 microamps, which I know a lot of you are going to be going, 27, what? What happened to the 1 and 2s and things like that? But that's ESP32 for you. But it is quite clever, the board under here. It does say, if I'm only being powered from battery, shut down all the rest of the circuitry, so like the USB interface and all that, kill all the LEDs, and, well, run as low as you can, which is 27 microamps, and it does. Unfortunately, the screen has an enable pin on it, and if you look at the front here, I think it's oh, yes, it is right over here, look, right over on the right hand side, enabled. Now if you bring that low, it switches off the screen, except that it didn't switch it off enough. It still drew, I think, about another 25 microamps. So in total I was drawing 50 plus, and I thought, not right, is it? So I stuck on this board a little tiny SI4599, you know, it's that little tiny 6-pin dual MOSFET that's absolutely brilliant in all respects, to turn this on and off. So when the board goes to sleep, it turns the power off to this board, which drops literally to 0 then, and I'm just left with the 27 microamps on the ESP32. Job's a good one. And anyway, this has been running now many times, and it's asleep now, of course. The display doesn't need power to operate. And of course, because I've been having a little bit of argy-bargy with it, yeah, I know that's techno speak, it's been used a lot more than it should be, rather than once a day, but it's still going very strong because the amount of power is tiny, isn't it? It takes a few seconds to run every time I press the reset. Now you saw in the breadboard video that I did there that one of these numbers was red because it goes red within 2 days of the bin being collected, and if it's not on a Monday, that Monday date you see down there, say for example Monday 25th of July, if it was Saturday the 23rd, that would be red as well to indicate that, oi, it's not the day you think it's going to be collected. So that's okay. Yes, that's basically it. There's still one little tiny issue that I have though regarding little FS and spiffs. Now, as you know, I did a video on little FS and spiffs a while ago now, because basically Espressif are saying spiffs is, well, not dead, but it's certainly deprecated. I think they want to get rid of it and have a little FS, which is a similar formatting construct as, you know, SD and all that, quite a robust one as the default one, except that on here, every so often, it says it wakes up at 2 o'clock in the morning and goes, I can't find the little FS partition. Kaboom. The end of, because obviously it's got to read a file to tell me how many days and all that. I have raised it with the developer of little FS, Laurel. I haven't had a reply yet, but I've kept this running on the debugging window on my terminal here for days and days and days and days. I mean, a good 2 weeks now, and it's still working. So today I'm deciding, all right, I'll do the video and I'll put it back in its box. And if it goes wrong again, I'm changing little FS back to spiffs and see if there's a problem with that. Because how that partition can suddenly not be found is just, well, bizarre, frankly, bizarre. I've never had a problem with it ever before. But then again, I've never done a battery project like this where it just wakes up once a day either. So who knows? So all's well that ends well, I think, on this one. Yeah, this is now going to go in here. There's a tiny issue, if you like, with the can't get that in with this lid, which I didn't notice until right to the very end. I mean, this is actually a waterproof box, would you believe? Because I thought, oh, I can make another one of these and put it outside above the bins, so I can, as I go to empty the trash and all that every day, I can. So, when's the next one due? Oh yes, it's next. 3 days to go. Except that this lid, I'll take this out for a bit. When that goes on there like that, have you noticed? Look, right in the middle of the screen there's that little nib on. I don't know what that is. I mean, it's really annoying. That's what it is. Really annoying, and I wish I'd seen it before I'd chosen this box to put it in. To be quite frankly, it doesn't really affect it. Let me just put all this together and show you. Right, there we are. But as you can see, look, that little nib in the middle there does distort the 25. Not enough to make it unreadable, but it's still annoying. And I wish it hadn't done that, but of course it's too late now. The PCB is designed to fit into this case and so forth, and it is waterproof. I don't think I'm going to be able to get another one of those ESP boards though. I don't know if ThingPulse are still making them now. Because if I wanted to make another one of these for outside, literally, or put this one outside and make a new one for indoors, I might be unstuck now. Don't care. I'll make it with a different one. I might make it with this one here with even lower standby current, which I think I've got down to 16 microamps or whatever. I did some research on this, but that's for a future video. Okay, right. So that's it now. So finally, the e-ink ePaper scenario has given me this project, and because it's only updated once a day, and of course when everybody's asleep, so you don't see that 15 seconds of pulsing, I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, I didn't show you the pulsing, did I? I don't think I did it in the other video. So let me just press the reset on there and you'll see it. So I'll just press reset. So it's woken it up. It goes and reads the little FS partition, we hope. When it's had the arts, it's read it. So now there we are, that's changing it. So look at all this flashy. Remember, the very bottom line is in red, and that takes the longest of all. And eventually it goes to sort of grey, and then still going. And then eventually it goes to a sort of a bit of a washed out red. Yeah. You saw how long that was. Well, at 2 AM in the morning, it just doesn't matter anymore. So I'm more than happy with that. Cool, that's it. Now, if you've got any questions about e-ink, ePaper, the ESP32 I'm using, the standby current, and everything else, feel free to comment. In fact, put a comment down anyway, because it really does help this channel and broaden its appeal as far as YouTube's concerned. And do give it a like if you found it mildly entertaining. And if you want to know why I haven't been here for the past, I don't know, 6 weeks, whatever it is, keep listening. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Oh, you're still here. Right, okay. Let me explain then. So, a few weeks back, I went to go and see my mum in Germany, and I thought, well, I don't want to have a video out on the Friday that I leave, or I left on the Sunday actually, and have to answer all the comments for that week while I'm seeing my mum. So I didn't have a video that week. I had it on the Friday when I was out there and coming back, because then I can deal with it when I'm coming back here. So that was 1 week missing. So we get back. I then had my birthday. Yeah, I know. Yeah. 36. What's that? My waist size. I wish. Yeah, so I had my birthday, and the present I got from my wife was in fact COVID-19. Hey! Yeah, I know, I've been jabbed and boosted and everything else, but I still got COVID, and it was pretty nasty. 2 days in bed, felt like a really bad head cold. I just couldn't, and my eyes were aching, and my teeth, and it was absolutely awful. And when that finally left me after, that was a good 10, 11 days of COVID, feeling like absolute... Right. I just felt so drained and worn out. I thought, I cannot face making another video yet. I'll do it next week. So the next week came round, and of course what happens is we have this massive 40 degrees centigrade heat wave in the UK. Yes, and I'm in that part of the country, the East Midlands, where we had the highest recorded temperature ever in the UK. In the history of the UK, the highest temperature was not a million miles away from where I live. And it was like, I'm not coming into my workshop. I tried coming into my workshop in the mornings when it was like 27, 28 in there. But just after lunch, it was 35, 36, going all the way up to 39. It was just absolutely impossible. So there was a good week there again. And then basically the following week, I just couldn't be asked, basically. Truth be told, I was just so exhausted with it all. So there's been several weeks of not having a video. And during that time, though, it wasn't all going to waste. I'm looking for a new PC, a custom-built PC, because I thought this PC is 10 years old. It really struggles now with the editing. I've had to not do certain things in my videos and cut down the quality a little bit, the frame rate and stuff, because it just can't cope. So I'm going to get myself, okay, if you're into PCs, this might mean something to you. I'm getting myself an Intel i7 chip. So it's a Core i7 12700K with a motherboard that's got the Intel 570 chip, is that, or 670 chipset on it, whatever. Still sticking with DDR4 RAM, but 32 gigs. GPU, well, there's a bit of controversy about how much GPU power, if any, you need for video editing. They say it can help. It certainly won't hinder, but it might not help. But I'm thinking like a GeForce RTX 3060. I can't afford a 3070. That's ridiculous. Which means I might be able to play a couple of games as well. You never know. They look pretty good, some of them. And then just a big case. My current case, I'm not kidding, for my PC is about this big. It's a tiny little HP small form factor thing. It's a Core i5, Core i5, quad core, but it's 12 years old, or 10 years old, and whilst it was great at the time, and when I started this channel, it was 6 years ago now, 6 years ago, it was still okay. But the software now for editing videos and all that has gone up, and of course we're looking at 4K and stuff like that. So it's really fallen behind hugely. So I definitely want to replace that. So the case is going to be huge compared to the one I got. What else was there? Motherboard, graphics, memory. Yeah, we said that. DDR4. I don't know. That's probably about it. Yeah, power supply and everything. But I'm trying to get that all sorted out, but I haven't actually committed yet because I'm a ditherer. All right, I have to research. Just as a bit of irony, for those of you who want to know, in the 1990s, I used to build PCs. Yeah, I know. As a sideline, it wasn't my main job. My main job has always been a developer, a programmer. But I used to build PCs for people because they knew nothing about them. And so I knew everything there was to know about computers, all the components and what was good this year, last year, and next year, and everything. I looked at the specs and all that this year, and it could have been written in Greek. I had no idea what was going on, so I've had to sort of relearn all that because I don't want to buy blind. So it's taken me a little bit of a while to do that as well. So during the heat wave, and when I was feeling like absolute rubbish with COVID, I just sat here in front of my computer looking at some of the specs and reading up whether DDR5 RAM is any good for twice the price of DDR4. The answer is no, by the way. And all the stuff that was surrounding us. And now I feel pretty well informed why I'm buying a certain spec of GPU or motherboard or whatever. So that's fine. So that's why I haven't been around. That's what I've been doing in the meantime. Still lots of videos to come. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next one. I hope you're finding these videos useful and interesting. There are plenty more videos to choose, and a couple are shown below. And if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, just click on my picture below and enjoy the rest of the videos. Thanks for watching.